Hey, and welcome to this week's Inbound Debate. As always, I'm James MacFarlane. This week we've got a slightly new format for you on the whiteboard. This week we are asking the question, is SEO continuing to be a big part of inbound marketing in 2014? So without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to our first guest, Robert Pinto Fernandez, who's going to be arguing his point.
Well, my first argument is, does this present a wider issue? If somebody's relying purely on SEO as a marketing strategy, or indeed any one type of media, or if you like marketing channel, then there's a serious issue there and they're potentially asking for trouble. If something goes wrong with that one channel, then the business is in a very, very bad position. When it comes to Google particularly, there are some issues that need to be addressed. Number one, it's unpredictable. Nobody knows what the algorithm's going to be like in the next 12 to 24 months and what kind of consequences that's going to have for people. Something that you could have done a couple of years ago might come back to bite you. Second, Google doesn't care. It doesn't care about businesses. Why should it? The three groups of people that Google really cares about are: one, its shareholders; two, its advertisers; and three, the people actually using its products. Number three, there's no guarantee. This is a big issue with SEO that I think is across the board, and no legitimate company can really guarantee results in any small period of time anyway. So, in conclusion, what does this come down to? For me, this is all about diversifying risk. So it's looking at not just free traffic from SEO, looking at paid traffic, whether that's YouTube ads, Facebook ads, LinkedIn ads, whatever works for your market. Then looking at very low cost media like bulk email marketing. If done correctly, that's still extremely effective. Social media marketing as well. So really, if you're just using one or two marketing channels at the moment, you really need to look at diversifying your strategy and using several. If you're not sure if one's going to work, test it. They can all be tested at relatively low charges and over short periods of time. And if it works, bring it on board as part of the marketing toolbox. If it doesn't, then try something else. So what I'm saying here is SEO should form part of a toolbox. It should be one small tool in a big toolbox of marketing.
Okay, so as James says, I'm going to argue the case in favour of SEO in any inbound marketing campaign in 2014. So I believe SEO has gone nowhere. It just looks very different. So it used to be all about things like crappy link building and keyword stuffing and exact match domains, things that didn't have any particular direct value in themselves. Whereas now it's about new tactics, things like really great PR campaigns and great design and user experience and anything that raises the profile of the brand, such as email marketing or social media. It's about those things. Those are the things we're really concentrating on now going into 2014. And yes, they have lots of direct value in themselves, and that's fantastic. But I think it's worth saying that we should have been doing all those things all along. It was difficult to get the clients to sign off the budgets because they weren't perceived as having any direct impact on the rankings. But if those same clients want to achieve those great rankings in 2014, they've got no choice but to take these things very, very seriously. The bottom line is this: despite the changing nature of SEO, many markets continue to depend, whether we're talking about through short tail or long tail, they continue to depend for many of their transactions and inquiries on search traffic. And as long as that's the case, whether it's achieved through crappy link building or really vibrant social communities and other really legitimate tactics, if those tactics are employed with one eye on the impact they have on rankings, well, that's what we call SEO. SEO has gone nowhere. It just looks very, very different.
Thank you very much, guys. I very much enjoyed that battle of the minds. This week, I'm going to side with Rob.
Hey.
Here we go. Because it's my personal belief that a good inbound marketing strategy, even if you're not taking into consideration SEO, will result in strong SEO results. So I actually believe that it's not a really important point for an inbound marketing strategy to take into account because it will happen anyway. So thank you very much, guys, for joining this week. As always, this has been the Inbound Debate, and we'll see you next week.